Okay, I got my last card and I have my cell phone. Here's what I want to say really quick. I always hope that I don't talk about a whole lot. I just wanted to share the place, and I have, because it's based on my circumstances, I would have to say that it is very, very challenging for me to refrain from getting stressed out, angry. I try to stay calm. Because I see the things that I do. There's new life, 2 new eggs, right? There's new life about ready to come. New life is on the way. And what's it entering into? Trash all over the fucking place. Okay, contaminating the water. Disrespect. Humans. You could kind of understand, maybe in a roundabout way, that other life forms would not like humans very much, or at least a ways. And I would have to say that not all humans want to be that way. Maybe no one does, but, I don't. I don't want to be like that. But, people don't want you treading on their possessions, so to speak. Everything's owned by God, but they don't want you treading on their possessions and their way of life. But at the same token, they're not thinking in the same process. Are they not treading on the lives of other people? I have to say I'm very glad that I am being delivered from caring anymore about helping anybody else. I see the need for people. The way that I once was educational. The best way that I realize for myself, which might go for all people, is to surrender to the inner truth and seek out the guidance of God. And God will let you know, help this person, or go to this area and help that person, or, I want you to do this for this person or this group of people. See, that's a lot different. My problem was I live in a very complacent doll reality throughout my life, and there's not enough growth in the areas desired, and I don't understand why. And if I go through my life and I pick any given subject, I can see how manifestations started to enter in. Even with transgendered people. As I met them throughout my life, did I ever know the first one I met? Did I realize it? Or was it in time? It's nice under here, isn't it? One thing I loved, and I'll always love, is when you get together with people and they love God and they're praying and prayer requests. Anybody want to speak? Anybody want to lead in prayer? And the desire to keep God center present. God be with us as we go about the next hour. Let your voice be heard. We're not the enemies. Did you ever say that? God, please let me hear your voice and not the enemies. Huh? Well, on this establishment edit, I was really hoping that it would still be in existence. It is not. I'm pretty much thinking it became a dollar store. But I don't know that 100%. It might be the place behind me. The one thing I will remember is that there was, you can actually go in here. But I'm not going to go in with this camera. It's a guaranteed shutdown. I need a permit. That would be like me walking in here with my friend, okay, and them telling me my friend has to go. Or I'm walking in here with my kid that I'm caring for that day, and the kid's got to go. Well, what? Or for somebody who has pet therapy, how about it? Why is it so easy for people to deter somebody who's walking around with a camera, talking to it? Because everybody gets so defensive because somebody walked in with a camera. Why don't they be friendly and just walk up and say, hey, who are you talking to? I don't know how I would have been if I wouldn't have came to Christ like I did. I say that I wouldn't even be here today. Because all that was filled in my head, the dominancy, was more of what the enemy wishes upon us. The things dominantly forced into my head, or grown in my head, if you will, circulating in my brain, not real. I know somebody used to say that, not real. Not real. Evidently, God's making a way, and I didn't really grab hold of getting the whole words psychology. It was such a grace. And I began to wonder, why in the world was it not more dominant in my life to be surrounded and saturated with truth inside of your brain? Pay attention to words. It's almost like we're in God's brain, God's head. When it digests through your head, choose life, always. That may mean walking away from others when you have a camera. Because through your witnessing, you witnessed. Most people don't like to be on camera. Off-guarded. At least in my circumstances. That's my life witnessing. See, not everybody has the same life witnessing. You see other people and they love it. And you see sometimes in my videos, some people, they really love it, right? Sometimes. But more so or not, I realized, since I've been doing the things I'm doing, I have to look back all the time. Okay? I have to pay attention to a lot more than I ever did my whole life. And a large portion of that is because all I did was pretty much go to work and go home and get drunk, watch TV, crash on the couch, or go back to my bedroom and sleep. Why is that? Well, you're not connecting with people in a manner that says, I'm looking forward to meeting up with them later on. But you do connect with a lot of people who say, hey, you want to get together and go drinking later on? You want to get together and go grab a bite to eat? And how many times can you get together and go grab a bite to eat? How many times can you get together to grab a few beers? Hey, you want to go with me down to the gym? I'm going to be going there. I go anytime you want to. You should stop by. You know, I can get you in for free. I'm thinking of going for a bike ride. Would you like to go with me? I'd like to go somewhere else, go maybe for a vacation and go biking somewhere. I'm going to lay out and get some suntan. I listen to music and stuff. Take the muscle car, right? I go up in the mountains to a few different places. Grab some sun. You want to relax in the sun? We can talk about things we can do later on. I'm going to go wash the car. Do you want to come with me? Hey, I want to go for a walk around the neighborhood. Do you want to come with? And you know what? No. More so or not. Especially as you enter into your 20s. I realized I'm willing, I'm able, I want to, I'm thankful that I can, while I can. Music, the disturbance of music. Please, God, take it away from me if it's not meant to be. It's not your blessing. Take it from me. Because why? It's miserable as shit. Yeah, because why? Psychologically, all I know to do is pretty much practice. I don't want to learn everybody in the whole wide world's songs. I'll learn a few of them, and I'm playing, and what? I'm bored with it. I'd rather hit play and go for a bike ride, listen to my earbuds. I love music. I'd rather go for a drive up in the mountains with my windows open and listen to some great music and laugh and dance in the seat. Go lay on the hood of my car or something and listen to music. You know, I don't want to just keep sitting around and practicing. Somebody says, why don't you write songs? And I say, well, I wrote a few songs, you know. It's not a number one priority to me back then throughout my life. It's not. It's more of, hopefully I can connect with somebody somehow and we can have life together. And guess what? That was part of the screwing process because you don't understand about compatibility. You're not really in tune psychologically, so you don't have any clarity or very little clarity. You got to be truly more familiar, for me, with Scripture. And that doesn't just happen like that for me. You know, it takes time, years of studying and praying and thinking. And when you start making serious choices, you start to realize what you don't know how to take care of yourself. And the world's pretty brutal. You turn into such a loving little child. Yeah, that's what happens. You enter into love, in my opinion. You come before God. It's like you became a baby all over again. And then what? Where's God at? Why? Because if I don't get help, I'm going to perish. I can't keep living like this. Circumstances-wise. Despite what other people may think, I don't want to be like them. I look at others now. You may look at me and be disgusted, okay? But I look at other people, even people that I used to, in admiration, and I don't. I admire what I admire in and through all things, but I'll never look at another human again the way I once did. Amen. I look at myself even greater than I used to look at any other human, and I realize that you are my best friend. As long as I have me, I have life. And I have someone to hang with, somebody to enjoy, because there's who thinks like I do, but you. You think like I do. I think like I do. I went through a lot to get to thinking like that. So, community, very important. I do like to eat out once in a while. I was really seeing my life circumstances much different considering we live on a planet. Even though there's a lot of laws choking life and the circulation of it, that we can enjoy ourselves. When is somebody going to stand up to the people who are dominating us with, or life forms that are dominating us with so many laws and such a tight squat living that we can't hardly do anything for ourselves that we want? Doesn't God have an all-access pass? Where's God at a time like this? I have desires. Say you can't serve two masters. You can't serve both God and money. God, you got a point there. I go in the store and get resources. How am I going to pay for them? That's just it. The life that's inside my brain, God has let me know, the world's way, you're never going to be able to afford it. Anyhow, you're not going to be able to afford the life inside of your head. There's no way whatsoever. Not even winning the local lottery. That's great. Let's start praying. I was praying for years in hotel rooms. For years. Why isn't God just leading me to a bank account with plenty in it? Multitudes. In this lifetime, if I were to live to be 250 years old, you ain't gonna spend all that. Why? Because when somebody's filled up with life, they don't want to just sit the hell around. They want to actually be actively doing things, something. At least enjoying the day on a blanket somewhere and getting some sun. Talking to the geese and stuff. Hey, maybe if the world was a little bit nicer to me and I wasn't getting arrested for everything or told I can't do everything, maybe I'd be the one who'd end up picking up some of the trash and getting rid of it. Because I have plenty of time. But you keep on mishandling somebody, they're gonna walk by the trash and spit on it. Who cares? It's not my world. By the way, I wasn't born and raised in this state, and I didn't want to be here to begin with. And I say that every day, and I keep reminding myself. I wrote my song, Dayton, Ohio, USA, because I didn't know why or how in the world I could have ended up 450 miles away from where I was born and raised. I wrote that song in 6 days by doing research. I figured I have time, I have a safe place to live, thank God. Thank you, Catherine. I'll write a song that inspires hope into me. Being that some of the people mentioned in my song made their way the hell out of Ohio, gave me hope to know that maybe someday I'll be able to get more on the path of what's in my mind instead of looking at a city that fell on its face and refuses to stand back up. You don't like when I say that? I don't like living in that. I don't like living in a city that fell on its face, and it's able. You see it all over the place. Reminds me of when I was drunk. There's a mentality out here drunk. Maybe that's why the big head of Dayton fell down. Is there puke in its hair, like when I was a teenager? People don't understand why I don't like alcohol. Alcohol and me have a history. I drink once in a while. I like wine and champagne, okay? Celebration, drink once in a while, or just to relax. When I'm done with my album, my 4th album, I did this before. Usually I get a bottle of wine and I'll drink at home. A bottle of wine, maybe not that day, but that week, most likely. You don't want it to go flat. I don't. And I don't want to waste it by pouring it away. Here's the thing, check this out. So I'm not against it. I'm against promoting it. And because I spent the years promoting it, during those times trying to get out in a mature manner, in my opinion, by reaching out to other people in the music industry and continuously being oppositioned, I think it's my time to explain why I can't stand entertaining alcohol establishments. And I say shame to everybody who could have paved a way for the generation, as they say, to be. That I don't have nice venues to play in, that I don't have to sell alcohol. Ones that I walk into and, wow, look at this freaking place. It's amazing. And they have plenty of parking. Because what you realize out here in Ohio, there's been a lot of parking issues since I came out here. I would not have done that to myself. I'd like to have a position in the government just for about 2 years so I could go in there and fire everybody I want to. Everybody that in my eyes fucked up really bad. Get out of here. No pension, none of that, okay? Why should you have a better health insurance plan than me? I'm still gonna say it. I feel I'm extremely more valuable, especially to the kingdom of heaven, than anybody in a suit and tie. And if you don't believe me, I'll just undress and walk down the road naked until I get arrested. And in my opinion, I've done more for this state than has been done in a long time. Because that's freedom. Free. I'm free to be me. Who says I have to wear clothing the way you say I have to wear clothing? And if I have to wear clothing, why can't I wear clothing I want to without feeling like the only way out is by tucking it under my jacket and running out the door? See, I had a season of time with that and did a Hills department store. I've asked God for my forgiveness, and it's been given. And let me tell you something about that. I think maybe God was trying to show me something different. Start living in a manner that says everything belongs to God. A child shouldn't want a bike. A child should have a bike. Hey, that should be my slogan. A child shouldn't want a bike. Huh? Right, brothers? A child should own a bike. How do we get a child that's poor and understands their mother's in slavery to get a bike? Especially a nice one. Well, we can get one of those used ones and stuff at the flea market. We'll be happy with it. Okay? We'll fix it all up, put oil on the chain. It'll be good. How do we get one the kid wants? How do we get one customized? You know, like the rich folk do. And then they just sit in their garage anyway. Meanwhile, the kid's out riding in the neighborhood day after day. Other bullies coming around, pushing their bike over, pushing them over. Yeah, you got a crappy bike. Why don't you tell your mom to get a real job? Okay, there's a lot of things that I could say, that I could talk about that I never talked about before. It's raining, it's raining, it's raining. Water, hallelujah, it's raining water, hallelujah. I used to love that song. My sister, Patty, did love this song a lot. And it's raining men, hallelujah, it's raining. And I used to like that, the singing on it. Here's the thing, check this out. I think of that when it rains like this. That song goes in my head every once in a while. Upbeat. I don't know much of the other words. Dream. Dream? I do. Can I tell you what another one of my biggest struggles were? I just got done being self-employed for approximately 7.5 years after driving truck for approximately 3 years. A little over, give or take. Then I went straight in, sooner or later, in time, a very short time, to being an adult entertainer and escort for quite a few years, especially off and on. But part-time is full-time, whether you like it or not. And so check this out, as I used to say, part-time is full-time for a working person, for a working gal. Here's the thing, check this out. It may seem like part-time to you, because it doesn't take very long. However, you must be available all the time. I didn't really have the opportunity to be Tracilyn. Yay! I'm alive. Then I was stuck in how can I get my needs met? How can I get my needs met? I didn't know what else to do because of how harsh it is for employment in the world I live in. But yet we see people with millions of dollars of houses for sale. And you want to ask the person that is selling the property, who the hell do you know will buy a house for multi-millions of dollars? 18 million, 90 million, really? I'm lucky if I could pay my child support for $400, whatever it was. I'm lucky if I can eat that day. Sometime when I'm at home in my studio, I'll show you something pretty cool that I started to realize. I've learned what job security is so long as there's an economy world around here and you have balls and you're willing to tell the government, screw you and your laws. When they're shutting down establishments or they're shutting down the population of people from being able to live in a life that they became dependent on and adjusted to, why isn't there politicians being locked up in prison? Why isn't that a global offense and they're taken off the planet? Why aren't they all just thrown into the shuttle and get out of here? That was one of the coolest things to ever occur in my lifetime that I'm aware of, which means there's probably much more going on. Where's the sheriff at? Citizens making an arrest, locking up the politicians who are making life circumstances miserable. That's a heck of a thing to go through when you're working in a studio. Do you know that servanthood God taught me and wanted me to know? When you're serving, all of it goes along with it. I don't want to talk about that now, but in servanthood, you continue to keep serving, you don't need a mask on. I have learned it's very difficult to live in the mentality of others, and I was living in the mentality of somebody else who was, I don't know where to put the percentage on the meter, but it was working enough that I was there, but I was being kicked out on semi-regular basis. Which means it's not easy on either party. There's something else more going on. And I've learned that there's others with technology involved in relationships, and they can't stand when somebody like me is in the presence of somebody else and they're caring for them. They like to see you, like the beach in LA, go be homeless. Why? Do you know what somebody with his hand in his pocket looked like a military man told me down at the Oregon District? An office personnel? We don't help people who can't help themselves. Today, I'd like him to walk up to me. Sir, hey sir, military man, you're superior. You're supreme? Supreme? The supreme? Do I have permission, sir, to kick him in the balls like I want to, yes or no? I'm asking the highest ranked military man in the state of Ohio. Sir, do I have permission to kick that asshole in the balls, sir? Please. With my physical foot. Why? Because I think a person who has a penis in a dress, he disrespects. And I don't think that man should be receiving a salary through the slavery of the human race, especially in this area, if he's going to go around and down talk everybody. We're supposed to speak high of the military men, but they go around down talking everybody else. And they try to be nonchalant about it. I want to talk to the highest rank of the Air Force Base, hopefully within the next year. He can explain the burn marks on my body. Okay. I had surgery on my nasal, and I learned sinus issues for me don't exist unless there's something penetrating into my brain causing inflammation problems. No allergy. Direct military assault. Are you having fun doing it? You know how you have a military man who's bald, have hair, as quickly as a laser from via satellite can enter into a human being? Like that. In other words, mental communications direct. They can be in and through all living existences, and probably much more than that, anytime they want. In and through all things. They're not God, folks. They get confused, in my opinion. And they like to try to force people into unhealthy circumstances. They cannot stand a free spirit that wants to enjoy their life and makes a way differently than the way that they've been dominated to do in our American culture. That's a lot that I learned since 2010, September 11th. Wow. I might even still have the brochure. Okay, so I'm gonna get ready to get my smartphone. I don't know which building it was for sure. I think it's the Dollar Tree now, but I could be wrong. Leave a comment down below. Oh, look at this. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be incredible. Success begins here. Wow. Be bold. Be bold. As I make my phone calls, and I insist that I get to talk to a higher rank than not, the supreme existence, the state of Ohio. I prefer there to be witnesses there and security, because I want an explanation as to why I was assaulted the entire time I've been working on my project, which is beneficial for my life and the lives of others. Multitudes. I could do more through my music than any politician that stepped foot on the soil of the state of Ohio, at least, I would say, on the planet. If only I gave them the opportunity to lift their spirit. Because when you're being a slave, your spirit is being depleted. When you're listening to Tracilyn sing, your spirit's being elevated. I hope what happens in a household is going to be shared worldwide. I've learned through everything I've gone through that caring about what another human being cares about you, you don't care anymore. Why is that? Because in the beginning, if it doesn't kill you, the harshness, and you can live through it, you understand you ain't gonna give that kind of power to another human being again. They're not content with themselves, or they wouldn't be mistreating other people, even in their verbal speech. They wouldn't be intruding into the lives of other people when a person's minding their own business. I don't go out purposely to assault or attack verbally anyone. I sure as hell went through a lot of it. So for any other reason, you have a penis, Do you have a beard? That's even better. Get started then. Put on a dress. Go for a walk. Maybe you'll be one of the fortunate ones and people would just, can I have a picture with you? Is your personality able to do that? Because I had to adapt a different personality, and that's kind of what led to a little bit of comedy in my life. You have to learn to, what the universe is providing you, go with it. Have a sense of humor. Understand that there's psychological conditioning. In a lot of such circumstances, not good. And that might be why all the aliens up there don't make themselves visual too often. They may test the waters a little bit just to see how we respond. And that might be why in the 70s I seen an alien outside our window. And later on in life, my drummer ended up telling me right around the same time there was an alien outside of their window too. Only they said it first. I never met anybody like that before. Do you think the aliens wanted us to come together? I've learned that there's a lot of people from yesterday that I do not even want to cross paths with for many reasons, all kinds of reasons. I believe that I should have been living a life more fulfilled in traveling. We have a world that we supposedly live on, and they say that's all this is. I don't believe it. But instead, I got living in a tiny little area, and I thought living in a 2x3 city, maybe 5 mile by 5 mile tops, on a more regular basis than not, was leading to a headstone above my head. Well, when I ended up making a choice, I learned that details above and beyond anything I ever witnessed truly matter. As I inhale or share that something again. I'm in my studio and I'm very thankful for that. But I would have much rather been able to aim for a place that I could enjoy my life in balance. Work on my music a portion of the time. You know, to whatever's in the world and their thought of if you're gonna do music you have to be all in or not at all. I'm not doing that. There's not enough manpower on this planet to dominate me to do something so ridiculous, in my opinion. Number two, there's also not enough commitment, honor within humanity to stay in the positions that need to be for it to exist as a livelihood. That's what I encountered throughout my life. More people are dishonorable. Don't connect with humans, Joyce Myers, you fucking bitch. Connect with God. Serve God with your life. Serve God, not man. And then you'll make choices in favor of what you desire, and the rest of the world will have a conniption fit over it. Oh, you're selfish, you're self-centered, all you care about is yourself. That's exactly what will happen. All I care about is myself. This coming from a society that would not let me have a relationship, a healthy one at that. Any was supposedly the only kid I ever had. I guarantee you if there's any other reason my balls went, that's one, okay? You invest your time with a human being, they're gonna up and leave you. You better put everything in writing so that they receive due punishment when they do it. Why do people keep getting involved in relationships without things being in writing? Well, that's what happened when I was with the fellow that brought me here. Don't want to put nothing in writing. Why is that? My life depends on it. If you screw up and kick me out again, I need to be able to go to the courtroom and sue you. Licensed pastor. Inviting me into the home and kicking me back out again. And again. And again. And again. Government, you're a bunch of fucking assholes. You are going to put together a program that people know what to do. And you're going to get rid of the whole freaking sex and money shit. Sex enslavement, sex entrapment. Not when a person's doing it to stay alive. You fucking cocksuckers. Can I tell you something? I hate you son of a bitches. And if I ever do anything to make money again, I'm not paying one fucking goddamn what they say red cent. I'm not paying 1 penny to the fucking United States government. There has to be something else. I'm miserable because of all your fucked up ways of life and pushing it on to the lives of other people, okay? The state of Ohio's gorgeous. The mentality sucks. When I was done here, I got the video. I was so fucking depressed. I was trying to be happy. I was trying to be happy here. I was glad for the community. It's not 100% what I wanted to do, but I did it. I was with somebody and I wanted to get on the pathway to getting my needs met. Heidi, I told you. Enough of the reading the book shit, because that's exactly what she said. I have a book you can read. Maybe it'll be beneficial. It's just like Joyce Meyers. How many books of hers and Joel Osteen's did I read, and what the hell did it lead me to? Acknowledging the fact that you gotta do everything your goddamn self. Well, can I at least start out somewhere I want to? Well, Joyce will tell you, you gotta figure that part out yourself. Sure, that's what we all want. We want to start out where we want to. And then there's, hey, you did it to yourself. Nobody else did it to you. Right, but you didn't tell me somebody was tapped into my brain. And you didn't tell me that there's a chip in the back of my head, but I questioned my mother back when I was like 8 years old. In the kitchen, Mom, is this a chip? What is this? What is this back here? What is it, Mom? And then you can pay attention to the conversations through other human beings, and you realize that something else has been communicating to you directly through others. They are going to make people wear a chip. They're going to implant them into the bodies. Okay? You will not be able to buy or sell anything. It's going to be the start of it. Why do you think they build the wall down? If people really knew, they'd go destroy the wall down in Mexico. Why? Because when they start electrocuting you with the chips you already have in your body, see, they're trying to cover up what they did. Get the chip in your hand. See, that's it. Oh my God, we got the chip in our hand. No, they implanted one in your brain, pretty much so. And the wall? Ask anybody who has a neurology problem. When they start electrocuting you, and you think that you can actually run away from it, the computer's in the sky, baby. Where are you gonna run when they're closing in from the East Coast and the West Coast in Canada too? You ain't gonna run down to Mexico. There's a wall there. Why don't you take it down now so you have at least some space to run? See, what they'll do is they'll build the wall and tell you it's a different reason. But it's for our interest. It's better for you. Can I ask you something? If you got into reading the Bible and you realized what we're entitled to, as a believer especially, but we're entitled to for a life form, you'd find out that building a wall and separating country lines is not necessarily what's best for life, especially in the time of tragedy. And then we got to go through the doors. Oh, here comes a complete stranger patting us down. I got taken into a private room. Why? I have a story to share with you of that. I'll take you into a private room, question you. What's the business? How long were you in the country? When did you go in there? What did you go looking for? Did you talk to anybody? Why don't you ask the military man who's inside my brain already and looking at you through my eyeballs and listening through my ears? You can taste my Kool-Aid that I'm drinking, my Diet Pepsi. Why not that? Why don't you ask that person? It's all on camera. Everything that you do is videotaped. If you want to call it videotaped, it's recorded. What do you think of that? Got to share my testimony. I was nervous. I did it. I'm very thankful that my daddy at the time. I watched that video. It took a while before I finally put it in like 4 parts. I had a big problem with this whole doing things alone musically. Not necessarily fully the way that I would have liked to. I was underdeveloped psychologically because I haven't had the chance to. I didn't understand, folks, and I didn't understand more about myself as I learned. And most certainly was not in tune with my singing voice, preferred singing key. But I did it anyway, and I tried to do it with whole heart, and I tried to give it to God. Hopefully my story will make an impact somehow, at least be helpful for me, at least. Hopefully it'll be an offering of help, an opportunity to share that you're not alone. I heard a lot of amazing testimonies here, and I really did enjoy coming. I looked forward to it. At times, I was dealing with my own thing psychologically, but I was very grateful to come here, and I would have liked to go again. Only I don't think right now, especially with the mass thing that was going on, I don't think it was really active. Okay, government, thank you. Treading on my life. I want to do things. You make it impossible for me to just go in a public facility anymore. You gotta always put a mask on, or it's better to just shut everything down, is it? Is it better to shut down any form of life? Let's just shut everything down. Why don't we start off by shutting down the government's, their individual bank accounts, so they can experience what it's like not to have any money. Stone. This building is made of stone. Just stone. I think so. I have a thing with masonry. I'm gonna go that. But anyway, I don't want to ramble on about this. My battery is kind of going out again. I want to get my smartphone. I'm gonna go in here really quick. I gotta find out what the name of the place was. I'll tell you, and I'll find out if that is the actual building. And here's the parking lot again, Tracilyn. Basically where that black vehicle is. Right here. I remember walking across the parking lot, so it was either there or somewhere like between the maroon and the other one. For some reason, I felt like we were parked there, or where I ended up parking, somewhere in this area. And we ended up walking across the parking lot. I remembered kind of windows. Okay. I really love facilities with windows like that, or houses with beautiful windows and you can see beautiful scenery and stuff. I love to be in it. One thing that I've realized, especially throughout the 70s and 80s in my life, not always, but more so or not, at some point in my life, I started realizing that being in darkened environments are depressing to me. So when I'm in a facility or I'm in a house, if you will, an atmosphere, and that atmosphere has windows, and also if it has a beautiful view, it really lifts my spirits. And one of the things that I stayed at the first house with the person who was helping me, they had a house with windows. And of course deer were in the backyard. And my first acknowledgement to that was it kind of felt some memories that I held very deep as I had relationships, being excited to see deer throughout my life. And I really loved the atmosphere. It had skylights, if they will. I don't know what they're called, but they were like in the ceiling and stuff. It was very, very classy to me. Much different than I was accustomed to. Definitely inspirational. And I tell you that as I'm recording my music and stuff, I would have much rather stayed in a much, much nicer environment with plenty of parking, enjoyed my life. I was hoping to have enjoyed it with other people. I didn't realize what's all involved in recording music. At this point, I can't say I would ever write another song again. I am definitely not like the recording artists in the world that have written and claim to have written and recorded 10, 20, 30 albums. I have 4 that I'm almost done with. I have 5 and 6, 8, 7, 8, 9, no more than 10 albums. If I do it, all of them. Because in the process of doing that, I don't have a quality life. I didn't. And a lot of it is because I couldn't choose in favor of what I wanted. I had to take what I could get my hands on because I was a student of Joyce Meyer's and I wasn't taught starting inwardly with your thoughts. You're going to need freedom. What's freedom? Well, the best form, psychiatrists will tell you, is in the form of money for now while the economy world is here. And I finally got the answer for, let's think about this as we go through life. People have money. That doesn't make you happy. Well, you gotta have it right psychologically. In other words, you gotta make things right with God the best that you can. The money, number one, you'd move somewhere, you'd be a lot happier just in the environment alone. And you'd set up details in a manner that says, yes, my life, in accordance to my way of thinking. Not, well, you have to just learn to get along. You just have to learn to get along. Nobody likes it really. God created many languages. That would be one of them. You don't want to hear that. No, you really don't. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to listen to it. You don't want to pay attention to it. That is something that you don't want to engage in because they know it. They're right. And let them be right and walk away because it's pathetic. Okay? I'll never say that. Nobody will make me say that because I understand intelligence and money in an economy world goes a long way to happiness, entering into it. That's what the enemy continuously fills your head. You don't need money. Stop doing things for the money. Why do things for the money? Let's go ask the people out in Los Angeles Beach if they would be living there if they had money. You think one might pop up? I would. I like it. Got lots of company. Oh, that mansion living isn't for us. It's not all it's cracked up to be. And big houses, cars, parking garage, swimming pool, walk through closets the size of most people's living rooms. Bigger than that. Well, it might seem like much, but you're never going to be happy with it all. Did you ever hear people say that? I heard it a lot, and I can't stand it. I just kind of turn away from people when they say that. That's their right to say whatever. God has shown me, with the way things are in this world, in this life, a dollar bill will be there for you when you need it. Call the man that was in this home and see if he's as worthy as your dollar bill to praise with your lips. Run a test run in your life. Is somebody special to you? Ask him for $1. Hold on to the dollar as long as you can and see which one withstands the test of time. 5 years from now, will that person still be in your life? Or will it be that dollar bill? Or both? I don't want to say too much right now, but those numbers on that building mean a lot to me. The 7, more than a lot of people may comprehend unless I were to maybe try to explain, and I won't. I don't like necessarily the number 7, but it has some significance in my own personal life, and I'm sure to many other people. It's funny because this building over here is what? United. Art and Education. United is in blue. Art and Education is in red. When I lived at Huber Heights in 2010 through 2012, I had an inkling that blue, the color blue, was dominant in my life. And I used to post online that I felt like the blues was chasing me down. Meaning the color blues. Blues, blues, blues everywhere. And can I tell you that I finally uploaded that video since I lived at my current place? Maybe even sooner, but at least since where I live, I was sharing my life story. I originally put it in Dayton, Ohio, the way that I recorded it, and then I re-uploaded it because YouTube took down my YouTube, at least one of my YouTube pages. The only thing that I would have to say about that is I think YouTube staff is a bunch of assholes, okay? Freedom of speech is important. Being able to speak. If people don't like your content, they should have a way, like Ishinru Karate would say, to block what they don't like coming their way. And that block should be indefinite, so long as it's with that account. However, that person should not have been given the right to dominate another human being's life because they don't like it. To block their content in such a manner that now that person's servanthood in doing so, which could be very, very beneficial for life, for others and itself, to tread what it is that they share. If you don't like somebody else's content, wouldn't it be nice to just block it so you never see it again? But why should they suffer a penalty for it? If that's what they want to share, they shared it. It's their right to live. That same stuff, you can prove in any court, is going on around the world. You can take anything on YouTube and you could share it, and yes, that is going on somewhere in the world. What do? Do we get rid of the human being from the planet? Block the content. There ought to be a campaign ad. If you don't like it, block it. But don't you tread on another life form. They have the right to live. They have the right to speak. Somebody else may be feeling mutual right now, and we don't know what God's doing with it because they may join together, and then who knows? Maybe you could post on a perspective of something that you think would be encouragement of going a direction that you feel is healthier for them instead of talking the way they do. I shared about the police humility framing me, the occurrence, the struggles I had, and the whole time I'm doing stuff outside of how I'm living, I don't truly know how to get my needs met in a way that I feel like I can actually get things together in a manner that I can continue on with my life and have high hopes. Well, and the rest of it is I shared. I'm going to go inside with my phone right now. I'm going to get one more scan of this place, and that's it. I would have liked to make a smaller video. This gives me something to edit. Hopefully I can edit out some of the stuff that I don't like myself, because I'd like to see myself a lot happier. And I think after I'm done sharing my life story, I think that day-to-day challenges, yes, they'll be there. I'll still share other things. Where I'm at currently and moving forward. Well, I shouldn't say moving forward. What I am aiming to hope to do someday. See, that's what the enemy doesn't want you talking about. They want you talking about yesterday and all the tragedies that occurred. That's what I'm learning. There's the flag. Oh, freedom. You ever stare at that flag and wonder how true it was in meaning? Now we're at the Dollar Tree. Isn't that something? The Dollar Tree. We're gonna do a video here. Not getting anybody else on there. It is what it is. Parking lot. In my opinion, this was quite something. If I'm not mistaken, when we first arrived here, if we were not the only car in the parking lot, in the beginning we were one of the only cars. In other words, just a few cars in the parking lot. And at that time, it really appeared, in my opinion, like this was more open space with just this building here. I think I remember the water. But I don't know. I think I do remember the side road here and stuff. It starts coming back to you. But it's just unique how a little bit different it seemed that day. I would like to start off by ending this video telling myself how much I love Tracilyn Michael. I have no regrets for the things that I have done. I have made things as right as I could with my Father, God, who I believe in very strongly. And I'm convinced is the only way for life for me. I am learning to be more truthful. I know that I don't want to be connected with people who bow down to a government who makes them put a fucking goddamn mask on their face. I want to breathe. What about you? That should be a campaign. Not against the government, against recklessness. They took their position and they were reckless with it. Mask on my face. Oh, how many people died during that time? Their last dying days, they had to put a fucking mask on their face because their stupid governor, politicians fucking forcing it, and cops are going to arrest them if they don't do it. I blame ignorance. Ignorance pretty strong in the kingdom of hell. The aliens on another planet. There's much more going up there. Okay? I blame NASA. I blame the education system. I blame the government. I blame every freaking goddamn pastor that's ever spoken didn't have a penis and looked hotter than Madonna. Okay? Stop showing me two slits as though they're the glam ones, and the ones with the penis gotta bulk themselves up and be the man of the kingdom. Is that it?
Hey man, I'm a real man. I'm a real man. This is how a man should be. Huh? Pick it up with your hands. You don't need no gloves. Stop being a sissy.
Really? I bet you those hands would feel really nice on my smooth ass, especially when it's tightened up from going to the fitness center all day. You know, and I have my nice tan, my perfume on, nice and clean, lingerie on, my boots. My hair is fluffed up blonde and my glossy red lipstick. I bet those rough hands would feel really nice on my ass cheeks. Especially if that man can fuck as good as he talks. Like he is a man. But hold on a minute. Well, that's a sin. You're a sinner. And so's all the geese out there. And that's why we have two eggs out here laying down. Who's gonna step on them? Huh? They're gonna be born. They're gonna hatch. And when they hatch, are they gonna gravitate towards all the garbage? Are they gonna have a drink of beer? Hey, welcome to planet Earth. You can sip out of the can that's laying down there for you, and there's one over there for you. Have a butt on us. It's absolutely free to you. Until an officer comes along and says, public indecency, or what's he gonna say, huh? Public drunkenness? As he sees the goose staggering along through? Wouldn't that be something? That'd be funny in a movie. An officer writing a citation to a drunken goose that got a hold of beer because of people just throwing garbage into the lake. and the goose was hatched. Okay, it hatched. And once it was born, and said, Mommy, where's you at? Where are you at? Fighting through all the trash, dear. I'll be over soon, but I'm hungry now. And it starts what? Drinking from the beer can. Well, here comes the cop. You can't do that. You're underage. You're not only underage, that's in public. I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm what. Because they want to show you other countries that aren't so free. I don't have to go to another country to see that freedom is an illusion of bullshit. Your idea of freedom is not in alignment with everyone in the whole wide world. I have a lot to be thankful for. I'm gonna get ready to go in here now. I'm gonna look up to see what the name of the place once was. And hopefully we can sneak in here without... Hey! Get out of here with your camera. Can I tell him I'm talking to the governor right now? Would that be a lie? I'm on my camera. I'm Skyping or something. I'm making a video for the governor, you know? I tell him about how much this area has impacted my life greatly. And, you know, for me to go back home, I'm on Social Security. I want to go visit my family in Pennsylvania, you know? Share with them how I've been being harassed the whole time I'm in my apartment. I gotta pay to go on a toll road to go back home. Why is that? That toll road was only meant to be temporary. They lied to us again and again. They lie. It's only temporary. It'll all go away. And tickets keep going up. More money. Careful what you believe. Pay attention. Know your human rights. Is there a human rights office here in America? Maybe that's who I should be talking to. Don't tell me that I don't have no rights. Or another tornado will come through, or a flood, or a hurricane, or, you know, a heavy windstorm at least. That's the God.